Beyond the Looking Glass, a photographic journey through Graphonia. The frozen tundra of Hyperborea is not exactly a hotbed of activity. As there are so few inhabitants to include in this chapter, and many of them are semi-aquatic, I've decided to combine Hyperborea and the sea into one. After all, much of what is considered Hyperborea is, in actuality, ice floating on top of the Hyperborean ice sea, hence the name. The two are inexorably connected, as the ice covers the sea and the sea penetrates the land. Traveling south from the Sea of Ice, we encounter the Elysian Sea. Relatively shallow and full of islands, it spans a broader range of latitudes than any other body of water on Graphonia. The Avalonian and Lemurican oceans share many of the same ocean currents, and their separation is mostly geopolitical. Together, they are both heavily responsible for transporting warm equatorial water southward, keeping the southern hemisphere far warmer on average than the northern. The temperate ocean circulates on its own and sends warm water and hot winds across the continent of Tempera all year long. The Aurora Sea is almost entirely covered in ice, apart from a narrow strip below Tempera, and even that may become frozen over in winter. Canophynyx lupiforsteri. Once, the Wolguins roamed from Hyperborea into northern Lemurica across the Hyperborean Ice Sea. Their pack mentality made them ideal for the primitive Lemuricans' accidental domestication. However, with the advent of farming, the wild Wolguins were deemed a danger to livestock and systematically exterminated until they were driven back to where they came from. Wolguins are pack hunters and will chase down large prey whenever possible, but those are not as common in Hyperborea as they were in Lemurica. Instead, Wolguins spend the majority of their time close to the shore. Suddenly, the pack heads for the water, diving in and chasing down shoals of fish. With their legs tucked in, they propel themselves with their wings, driving fish into the waiting mouths of their pack members. Eventually, they return to the frozen land and shake off the frigid water from their thick coat of oily feathers. The Wolguins' adaptation to aquatic hunting is still incomplete, and they are far more agile on land despite their largely pescatarian diets. However, their cunning and cooperative natures help to make up for these deficiencies. If given enough time to perfect themselves, who knows what kind of predators their descendants will become. Ursifracula polarecta. Polar ruffins spend most of their time on the thick sea ice encasing Hyperborea, waiting for seal gull to surface for a breath of air. In the springtime, when the ice is thinner, they may dive directly into the water itself to catch pups who are still learning to swim. When the opportunity presents itself, they may even catch a rock by surprise, but the difference in speed makes it difficult to make a regular meal out of them. Occasionally, they have been observed stalking lone Wolguins who have been separated from their pack. These massive predators can easily defeat the much smaller prey, but they always remain cautious, given that if the rest of the pack arrives on the scene, they may find themselves dangerously outnumbered. Polar ruffins are solitary and have learned the danger inherent in taking on an animal that fights to protect each member of the group. The rise in global temperatures has led to a reduction in the ice sheets that have long provided the polar ruffins' hunting ground. Desperation has driven them to take greater risks, swimming great distances for food. In recent years, they have been spotted in the far northern reaches of Lemurica and Aloria, posing an extreme danger to the local residents. Rangepenguinus terrandipus. Rauks, relatives of Dirau, embarked on an arduous migration northward, crossing ancient land bridges that emerged between Aloria and Hyperborea during a historical ice age, created by the expansive growth of ice sheets. Their ancestors traversed oceans, and their nomadic journey hasn't ceased since. Today, they traverse the landscapes in herds, moving between flourishing forests sustained by the presence of frostfire trees. Using their elongated beaks, they skillfully scrape lichen from tree trunks or intricately delve into the snow to uncover it. Considering the presence of deep, seawater-filled ravines extending into the continent and the vast expanses of precarious ice masquerading as land, it's unsurprising that rocks have evolved into adept swimmers. Any creature covering such extensive distances is bound to encounter rivers or tumble into icy waters at some point. However, what might astonish you is their intentional aquatic forays for fishing. Emerging from a prolonged winter, their nutritional reserves often depleted. A beakful of protein provides the vital energy boost they require while seeking a fresh lichen supply. Additionally, fish bones offer a valuable calcium source, contributing to the growth of their antlers. Hydrularis gulonix. While seal gull have been observed as far south as the beaches of Olympus reach, their predominant abode will forever remain the frigid shores of Hyperborea. With a dense layer of blubber and short, dense feathers that trap a thin bubble of air against their bodies, they effectively stave off the chill of the water as they plunge beneath the icy surface in pursuit of fish. Having forsaken external ears, they've acquired bristly feathers across their faces that are sensitive to water vibrations, enabling them to trail their quarry even within the shadows of the immense ice sheets. Their legs have metamorphosed into flippers, while their wings have experienced minimal alteration, although they are considerably too small for airborne propulsion. These appendages seem to be kept tucked during swimming, solely unfurling when the seal gull takes respite on the shore. By stretching their wings horizontally, they establish a visual boundary, ensuring sufficient personal space and thwarting overcrowding among their kin. However, during the mating season, the male seal gull elevate their wings toward the sky, expertly maneuvering them in intricate patterns to capture the attention of potential female mates. Enhusula nebulutris. Otter boobies boast a substantial range that encompasses the entirety of the northern half of the Elysian Sea. While they do venture onto shores spanning from Hyperborea to Astrea Dominia, and occasionally even eastern Lemurica for mating and nesting, their behavior shifts once their young hatch. At that point, they swiftly return to the shallow sea waters where they predominantly float on the surface. Here, they spend most of their time grooming their short, fluffy feathers to keep them clean and well aerated. This grooming ensures insulation as they dive below to forage for mollusks or fish in the deeper waters. Their wings take them to the skies only when seeking a mate. Females position themselves offshore, acting as spectators, while the males venture onto the land. Here, the males proudly showcase their brilliantly blue feet and wings. In time, they launch themselves into the air, gracefully soaring overhead to exhibit their stamina and bravery. These displays involve artful exchanges of swift passes as they dash past one another. After a period of observation, the females join their chosen males in the sky, separating from the rest to later return to the ground, mate, and identify a suitable nest site. Megapterana crowtails, Aleana crotalus. Cetagryphs constitute a fully aquatic order of gryphiforms. Their feathers have diminished to the extent of being nearly invisible, rendering them almost bald in appearance. Their forelimbs have evolved into flippers, while their hind limbs have fused into flukes. As for their wings, they have either completely transformed into flippers or altered in shape to optimize swimming efficiency. However, the most astonishing feature lies in their buoyant eggs, which are capable of floating atop the water's surface. Humplicans, massive inhabitants of the Lemurican and Avalonian oceans, follow a distinct pattern. During winter, they gather in the northern realms of the Lemurican Ocean, where they lay a solitary egg in the warmer waters. Nurturing females typically congregate as a group to safeguard their eggs. Often, they are accompanied by younger female relatives who assist in tending to the eggs and maintaining vigilance against potential threats, learning the ropes as they go. A recently hatched Humplican calf already possesses the ability to swim. Once all the eggs have hatched, the entire collective migrates southward to the depths of the ocean, where the fish population is abundant. Tersicorvus truncacarbo. Cormolphins play in the warm waters of the temperate ocean. Resembling dolphins, these graceful cetagryphs use modified wings alongside flippers for professional-level underwater acrobatics. If their remarkable agility wasn't already enough to make them a threat to fish, their cooperative disposition and natural sonar abilities certainly tip the scale. They indeed reign as the masters of their ocean. Their only threat comes from the sapients of southeastern Lemurica, who prize them as a delicacy. Trawlers ensnare them in nets during fishing, selling them on the black market. Numerous laws and international agreements have been ineffective in stopping the Cormolphin meat trade. Furthermore, if conservation efforts succeed in shielding them from poaching, it may be just in time for the impact of climate change and the subsequent ice cap melting to disrupt water currents. The Temperan Gyre is the largest expanse of calm waters on the ocean's surface. Cormorphins lay their eggs here, where they find relative safety. However, if ocean currents shift, it could bring an end to the gyre and the cormorphins along with it. Delphula leucatra. At the bottom of the world, beneath the frozen expanse of the Aurora Sea, swim the beluga whales. These creatures possess sturdy bodies cloaked in ample blubber, serving as insulation in the frigid polar waters. Their predominantly white appearance likely aids in their camouflage amidst the ice, facilitating more efficient hunting. However, the seemingly contradictory black patches on their faces raise questions. What purpose do these markings truly serve? Although counterintuitive, these facial markings may not significantly impact their effectiveness as long as they stay above their prey. Research suggests that these distinctive patterns vary among individuals, potentially enabling them to discreetly recognize one another. Beluga whales live in large groups, fostering intricate relationships among their members. Navigating the dynamics of leadership, collaboration, and role assignments during hunting missions is of great significance. Recognizing companions swiftly could play a pivotal role in their social interactions and hunting endeavors. Moreover, considering certain prey species' ability to detect their sonar signals, these whales might have evolved these markings to operate silently, an essential adaptation for successful hunting.